Yeah. Jay's tired, man.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host, Gaz, and joining me in the studio, you know him, he's my co-host, he's the Old Testament Taylor.
Oh, yes, you do. You know me. You must do by now.
Well, I was going to say Old Text Taylor, but you know, Old Testament came out, but it doesn't really matter. It's got no bearing on the show whatsoever. Well, thank you. Welcome back, new listeners and repeat offenders, and thank you for joining us for another episode.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much.
Well, this year we're looking into it's a great mystery.
Yeah.
We're looking into a mystery that's over 600 years old.
Whoa.
And it's still unsolved today.
Yes.
The Voynich Manuscript.
Oh, I bet half of you don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, it's an illustrated codex, handwritten in an unknown language.
Yeah.
Well, is it a code? Oh, we don't know. We're going to look into it. It's stumped code breakers.
Oh, yeah.
It stumped code breakers, it stumped technology, it's stumped computer programs, language experts.
Mind-blowing.
They couldn't solve it. Do you reckon we can? We'll find out a bit later on in the show.
Or maybe even they can.
If you can.
Yeah, if you can.
You can come on the show and tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all coming up very shortly in the show.
It will be.
We've also got What's Fucked Up Where You're From, as well as the NASA news.
Oh, yes. Great news this week.
Well worth sticking around for. Taylor's kept me up late. We've had some drama.
We have.
I was going to say, what was going on? What have you been up to? But we've just had some mad drama, some mad stuff going on outside the studio. We have. We have indeed. Stuff spills out onto the streets, doesn't it? On a Saturday night, it gets rowdy.
Yeah, we don't want a bit of rowdiness. We want a bit quiet.
It's all calmed down now.
Yeah,
everything's calmed down now.
Yeah.
Doors have stopped being kicked.
Taxis are arguing why they
Taxis are gone. We're good. Right. Yeah. So. Other than that, what have you been up to?
Me, actually, I got told about a program that started on Netflix.
Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Netflix.
Which I was actually going to go and watch.
What was it? What's your program?
It is called The Octopus Teacher.
Oh, right.
And I watched it last night, actually.
Written by Ringo Starr.
Really good. No, it was this guy who's basically, he lived in South Africa.
Okay.
And
so it's like wait a minute. So is this going to be something like the Dog Whisperer, but he speaks to octopi?
No, he spent a year every single day going and seeing this octopus to see, to get a kind of friendship,
a relationship.
Yeah, and he actually did. And it was really interesting program. Really, I really enjoyed it.
Right, and what's that? Is it a documentary?
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool, actually. So
it really is.
It's the tale of a man and his eight-legged friend.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit like what was the lassie, or do you know the
dolphin?
What's that? Octopusy.
Yeah.
Octopusy. What's that, Octopusy? There's a boy trapped in the old sunken wreck.
Yeah, let's go and chase it.
Yeah, it sounds like a good Saturday afternoon TV program, that.
Yeah, I had a good watch of it last night, and it was it was really, really good. So if you get a chance to see it, then
what was the guy called? Jim and Octopusy.
Jim and Mr. Octopusy. Yeah.
No, well, legitimately, what was it called? What was it called?
The Octopus Teacher. That's what it's called.
So it's like the Dog Whisperer.
Yeah. To be honest, I've never seen the Dog Whisperer, so I couldn't tell you.
There's a couple of things that I've been recommended. One was called The Originals, and I believe it's about vampires. I'm not sure if it was like an original Netflix or it's just come to Netflix, like as a another just bundled in there.
Yeah.
But a few people have been telling me, because they know I like all this sort of stuff. So vampires, I do like vampire-y stuff.
You are a bit of a biter.
So yeah, I don't know. Have you seen it?
You're gonna give it a go?
I might give it a go. I might give the first episode a go. But the problem is with vampires, and you can give me. I might get comments for this, but do you know, like when they're a bit dandy? Like they're always kind of like, oh, I've got a cravat. And
it's
like,
a bit old style.
A bit old school, but I don't like that vampire. Yeah.
Yeah, but you...
Yeah, well, I don't like they're giving
that
new romantic look, a bit of eyeliner. And
I know it's not the 80s now, but like it was trendy back then.
It was actually, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, as well.
Was.
Just like to let everybody know that we've been nominated for an award.
We have.
The Paranormality magazine have nominated us for best podcast in the best UFO podcast category.
Oh, mint.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like say
wait.
thank you for nominating us first of all, and votes are open till the 30th of September.
So you know what to do.
I think it is the 30th of September. I'll correct you if I'm wrong. But you can go over and vote for us. There's a link in the description. It only takes a minute. It's just a matter of signing up with your email address.
Yeah,
and that's about it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, like I say, anything else you've been doing this week? I've had a bit of a kind of a busy week, but not really busy enough to talk about. Do you know what I mean?
No, not really. I had a bit of a down at the beginning of the week, but then I pulled myself out of it, and then I cheered myself with this octopus.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I needed something,
this
a
is the
bit
thing,
cheerful.
It's been a bit of a bad week in news, and it's like, when you kind of
terrible, mate.
You, it's one of those where it's you find yourself watching the news, and then you wake up in the morning depressed.
Yeah.
You can't help it. It's like, so you need to kind of pull yourself away from. If you're one of those people who kind of just like sit there soaking up 24-hour news.
Yeah.
You need to step away from it. Step away from the
Definitely,
news.
because half of it is bullshit, for one. And the other half is like, well, it gives you a little bit of info, but you don't want to put
That doesn't mean turn us off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
But what I'm saying is, the 24-hour news, it's worth. I go like that, even if it's world events, I just think, right, I'm gonna watch something else.
Yeah, you got to give yourself a break.
Do you know what I mean?
Man,
and I'll check back in later.
You got to think of your mental health, mate. You got to think of your mental health. It's too easy to get wrapped up in stuff. So.
But yeah, is your car alarm going off, sir?
My car's a pain in the bloody butt.
Go and sort your car alarm out.
I can do it for me.
Can you?
Yeah, bang, there's one.
It keeps going off.
Bang,
it's like you keep seeing
again.
it flashing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, while you're doing that,
It's a nice car, those people like touching it.
try and steal it. While you're sorting that out, I'll tell everybody about this week's What's Fucked Up Where You're From.
Yes, you will.
Well, we seem to have a lot of listeners from Minnesota.
Yeah,
Because we got
listeners.
another tweet. This one was from the true crime podcast Unnatural.
Hey.
Yeah, Unnatural the
Unnatural.
podcast, who have said there's ghosts of orphan children that are rumoured to linger around a former orphanage in Minnesota.
Oh.
Witnesses have also seen the floor move
The floor
and warp.
itself.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's been phantom cigar smoke.
Okay,
Books have moved. The temperature in the building has changed dramatically. And phone calls have been made to the police department from an empty building. Yeah. The third floor is said to be especially haunted.
So something went on there.
So
then,
I was
by the
like,
sounds of things.
right, okay. Do you see, we've done a few of these in
Yeah, we
Minnesota,
have, yeah.
and I'd never heard
It's a
that.
spooky place, man.
Which got me kind of thinking, well, there's got to be more to Minnesota.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
couldn't have covered everything.
No.
And do you know what? It hasn't disappointed. There's so many kind of urban legends and stuff coming out of Minnesota. Here's a legend for you that especially unique to Minnesota. And
Oh,
it's,
right, okay.
It's the Kensington Runestone. Was originally discovered in 1898
Right.
by Olaf Oatman.
Oh.
And apparently it was it's basically like a ruin. It's basically do you know when you see a ruin or a bag of ruins?
Yeah.
When you get your stones done or whatever. When you get your
When you
stones
get
done.
your stones
When you
done?
get my stones done.
Oh, I always get me stones.
When you get your ruins done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or runes.
Runes.
Yeah, because I'm not saying that correctly. I'm going to get told off. But it's like a big rune.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But it's apparently it's the largest stone that they've ever found. And apparently it's they reckon it goes back to the 1300s. But after extensive study, the stone was basically brought up back to the 19th century.
Yeah.
People still believe that the stone is authentic, but it's puzzled
Could
mystery.
be.
It's been a puzzling mystery. It's funny though because it kind of goes into what we're talking about tonight.
It kind of does, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
with this
Another
the
mystery.
Voynich.
Yes.
Have we mentioned that?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think we have.
Have we not?
No, we haven't. I think this is the first time we mentioned it.
No,
Yeah.
I've read something out about it, haven't I?
No.
Yeah, of course I have.
You sure? I don't think you have.
Yes, I
I'm
have.
a clever boy. I can hear you, you know.
I think it goes in one ear and out the other. I think the audience
Most of the
will
time,
agree
but that
with
one
me
didn't.
that I did talk about what we're talking about at the
Yeah.
beginning of the show.
Oh,
So,
sure.
Another legend.
Yes.
You don't try. It's late. Yeah, right. For anyone listening at the moment, it's currently 2:20 in the morning. Yeah, right. Now, he thinks that because I'm a bit tired that I'm gonna be.
I'm tired too.
I'm not looking where I'm going, but.
No, I swear I don't think you said it at the beginning. But
if it's written on my bloody script, I said it. Yeah, right. Do you know what?
We'll find out,
won't we, later?
Yeah.
No edits. Right,
yes,
anyway.
No edits.
So, the Dead Man's Trail is another Minnesotan legend that goes back a long time. But there's no sort of consensus on the exact story.
Okay.
The most commonly told urban legend, however, is that the Native American woman who lost her baby by the water, the baby was swept up into the rushing water and she witnessed it wash away. Apparently, she cried out thief to the river, and it's said that she wanders the banks looking out for a lost child. And if you listen closely, you can hear her cries.
Not the babies.
Maybe the mothers,
or
the baby. I don't know. Could
maybe
be
she
one
went
of each.
further in there and she got the baby and she didn't have to find it, but she
maybe she
fucking
she got the baby, but she got swept away as well.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's near there and can get some photographic proof, or even a little bit of proof of something spooky going on down there.
Well, you know what to do. If you want to get involved in what's fucked up where you're from, you can send us an email.
You can
at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Dead easy. You can just send us just a tale. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Is there a haunting, or maybe a paranormal, a haunted house, or a cryptid, or a UFO story, or anything like that? Could
anything
be a
mystery,
a
weird,
monster, or anything high strange. You just let us know. Send us an email, and we'll do a bit of extra investigation and see what else we can dig up.
Oh yeah,
it's all good. It's like I say, Minnesota's delivering at the moment.
Yeah, it's a busy little place, isn't it?
I tell you what, they're up there. They're up there in the spookiest, kind of weirdest towns for stuff going on. Well, like to say that this episode is brought to you in part by our Patreons. We couldn't do this without the help and support of our listeners.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. What you can do is if you go over to Patreon, link in the description, you can join up in a number of tiers. You can be an agent, a special agent, or be on top secret. Different levels and different tier groups to choose from, with some excellent bonuses and excellent extras.
Oh yes, we like the extras giving out.
Yeah, extra.
Read all about it.
That was so bad.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. And I don't even know why I said it, because it was from a newspaper, wasn't it?
That was like what the little urchin on the street would be like, extra, get your newspaper. Like, Prince dead.
Yeah.
He was like throwing laptops at people, or going for it, like, assaulting your Kindle, trying to get the Sun newspaper on it.
Yeah, good old days. Now all you have to do is flip your phone and go, oh, what's
what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like this different world, isn't it?
It is. Totally.
Well, going into this is a great little topic, this, right? Now, it's not 100% what we normally do, but it's a mystery, and I love these mysteries. And when I first heard the term the Voynich manuscript, I was like, it's the question that everybody asks, well, what is it?
Yeah.
And
that seems to be the issue.
That is a big issue, isn't it? Now, we've done our best to research this, and there's quite a lot of information, so we're going to try and fit as much as we can,
but it won't be all there, I don't
Probably
think.
not all there.
We'll try and give you the best
We'll
result.
give you the highlights, all the best bits.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so the Voynich Manuscript is an illustrated book, or codex, in an unknown writing or system of language referred to as Voynichese. Yeah. So the vellum or paper which it's written on has actually been carbon dated to like as far back as the 15th century, and it indicates that on scientific sort of analysis, they reckon that it's coming from Italy. Or it was made originally around about. Where was it? Northern Italy.
Because it was the Arizona University that did the carbon dating.
Yeah, because he did some carbon dating. So one of the reasons why a lot of researchers believe that it was Italy initially is because one of the illustrations of a castle looks very similar to the style of castles that were built at that time,
right.
but also the ink and the calfskin parchment was typical of the area and time period.
Yeah.
So the origins and authorship of the manuscript been highly debated for various reasons. There's been quite a community in recent days since the birth of the internet that has made people more aware of the manuscript, for one, but also has kind of give it more time for research, and for reasons we'll get into the episode, because this document has been kind of hidden away for much of its history.
Oh yeah.
Especially in I'd say the last century. So
yeah, it's probably been more known in the past than it had been done in the last
do you think?
Yeah, I think that.
I think there's actually been around about 60. We'll get into it anyway, because I think there's been about 60 interpretations or decodes. Because, like I say, I think a lot of people look at it as a manuscript, but what is this manuscript containing? Do you know what I mean? And it's written in a language that nobody can understand. No. So to kind of decode it, does it need a cipher, or is it kind of in a secret language? What's the deal with it? Yeah, so it's obviously had some people look at it over the years, but I think the level of minds that have looked at it since in the last, say, half century have been more so. Do you know, in terms of I think more investigation's gone into it recently than ever before, to be honest.
Yeah, it's such a puzzle.
So, the idea of this manuscript is that it's kind of written in this language that, like I say, nobody can kind of work out. Is it a cipher, or basically, or a code of some description, or is it containing some information that could change the way we think about stuff? Is it kind of scientific, or is it historical? There's been many interpretations from people saying it's, in relation to the plate that Judas gave to Jesus. And it got religious significance. Whereas other people think it's more of a medical journal of some description. Many people assume that the Voynich Manuscript is basically written in an unintelligible script, but no more than half of the pages contain any text, because a lot of it's got illustrations, and the text itself is kind of made up of a lot of different languages. So it's got Latin alphabet, including words written in Latin, French, Spanish, and German, and even some words written in English. So it's a bit of a mad book, So
and realistically, that on its own, with them different languages in there, should generally, as the past has shown, that those professionals who look into these give you the key to actually looking at the language. But for
they
some
do normally.
reason it doesn't.
Or there's an accompanying cipher that kind of cracks the code, or it does sound like something out of a fucking Nicolas Cage movie, doesn't it? It's but
hey, well, you know what? It could give us the key to the City of Gold or wherever. I mean, because it is that strange of a book that we don't know a real lot about it.
Well, it's
except
actually
for where it's been passed.
To an extent, because, like I say, I mean, there was some kind of, basically, people were saying that the origins went back further than it did, and attributed it to works of certain scientists at the time, or chemists, or alchemists, that when we carbon dated the manuscript, it kind of wasn't in the same time period. So there was ideas that it could have been Leonardo da Vinci's, or even was it Bacon? So there's some ideas of that. So the famous manuscript, which was dubbed to many scholars as one of the most important, and even the Smithsonian magazine called it the world's most mysterious manuscript. While its origins only go back centuries. The story only goes back to 1912. Really starts there. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, because so there's a kind of a period of like the 14th century, 15th, 16th maybe of it, but then after that it's like disappeared because it's been gone to certain people. So it's going to be out of the realms of people.
This is what I was talking about a couple of months back, though, actually. I think about like when antiquities and in fact, we were talking about it last week about kind of antiquities are found in wartime or when other countries raid and stuff like that.
Yeah,
pillage. Then artifacts generally get kind of put in private collections or sold on the black market. And
it's a shame that you don't see them anymore.
It's weird because, when you're kind of hiding away history and not allowing it to be studied and kind of understood. And this seemed to be what was happening with this. It was handed down, this codex. So the codex itself, like I say, is dated back to at least the 14th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's changed hands a few times. Now, we can't really go into all the details, but we will kind of cover some during the episode. But like I say, the story begins really in the modern day version of everything. Do you know, the more kind of relevant information.
Yeah, because we're getting more information through these centuries instead.
Now, there's a reason why it's called the Voynich Manuscript, because, like I say, the guy who it was named after, who lends its name to, was actually a Polish nationalist who had been basically imprisoned by the Russian government for his crimes and activities against the Russian Empire in the late 19th century. After his release, him and his wife, who had been she called herself his wife.
Yeah.
They'd been living together since 1895.
Common law wife.
Common law wife.
Yeah.
They've eventually moved to England and she basically married him in 1902.
Fair enough. Good girl.
So he's basically been making money turning over antique books. Yeah, so he's become a pretty prominent antiquities dealer, book dealer. And after a while, he opened a successful shop. It was doing quite well.
Doing good then.
Well, yeah, so good that he was getting customers coming in asking him if he can get his hands on rare documents, rare manuscripts, stuff were quite
important.
niche or important.
Yeah.
So he started kind of dabbling in this stuff. So he was doing a lot of traveling,
as you would,
meeting up with kind of people. And most often than not, he'd come back with a big selection of stuff to sell in his shop.
Yeah.
Obviously, business was good, and he's kind of reaping the rewards and
he certainly did.
Getting quite a reputation.
Yeah.
In the field.
So business empire.
Wasn't before long he kind of heard wind of a deal going down in Rome.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So this was around 1912, and how he understood it was there was a big shipment of old documents, old manuscripts, and old books. Yeah, that were being auctioned off or sold. Yeah, to a third party.
Sounds
right.
Lovely.
So he managed to kind of wangle his way in the deal and secure quite a hefty chunk, if not all of these books, right? All these documents and stuff. So basically, they've all been shipped to England. And in the mix was this tatty kind of book with no inscription on it, literally parchment, and containing this mysterious language that nobody could understand or decipher, but also a vast amount of illustrations.
Yeah.
So the illustrations themselves were quite bizarre because they were depicting plant life.
Yeah, that don't exist, by the way.
Well, you could argue that they don't exist, but you could also say that they were medieval. And because there's a lot of people, obviously this is a medieval book, and it's basically a lot of these plants could have just gone extinct.
Yeah, that's true. They could be still growing somewhere else. In fact, I was watching a program the other day, and it was in, I think, the Amazon, and it took, for a square metre, there would be more trees, new trees, in that square metre. I think he said something like 3,000.
Yeah.
In that square metre, like, if you look at Britain, Britain's only got 30 different species of trees. So just imagine how much that we haven't seen.
Well, this is again like the Oak Island thing. I always bring back Oak Island, but like the idea, the reason why Oak Island's called Oak Island is because there was a tree, a variety of tree on the island that doesn't exist there anymore. Yeah, that's right. And it was literally tall standing oaks on the coast, which were believed to signal to sailors that they were coming out, because you could see them over the horizon. Yeah, because they were so tall. Those trees aren't there anymore. No. Yeah, but they still. But they still left the evidence. Well, there are still oak trees, but just not that type, I think. Yeah. They weren't native to the island, if you like. No, so they were deliberately. So I don't know. I mean, there's plants and stuff that are depicted in this book, but they don't really, like you say, they don't exist today.
As far as we know,
that is a bit strange. Yeah, when you've got a language that you can't understand, depictions of plant life that you don't recognise, it starts to get into the bit of a strange sort of realms. Like straight away, mate, I'm not going to pull the punches. The alien thing does crop up in my head a little bit. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because straight away, it's like you try and kind of. You think it's fantastic. It must be something pretty fantastic.
Yeah, but I don't. To be honest, myself, I don't go for the alien theory. Surprisingly.
Well, no. Obviously, as you keep reading and getting into the idea and the story, it does kind of like change in that. Yeah. But you do kind of at this point start to feel like there is some sort of alien. Oh connection.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Now Voynich actually felt like he'd encountered something pretty special when he found the manuscript, and obviously. Got kind of deep into it, trying to understand what was going on with it. He actually was quoted to say, because obviously he bought this whole collection from Rome, and over time he was able to sell a lot of it, but there was one book that he always retained, and he says it was such an ugly duckling, compared to the others, that it piqued his interest at once. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the codex was an unassuming book,
Yeah, and it does look an ugly thing.
So basically, the measurements were about 8.8 inches by 6.2 inches, about 240 pages. Like we said earlier, that the pages were kind of calf skin. Yeah. Right. Now they ruled out hoax because of that.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
because it was many believed that Voynich himself perpetrated this as a hoax, but that was ruled out by the fact that if it was a hoax, he must have had like a lot of spare parchment all created around about the same time, just knocking around. It does every page carbon dates back to the same time period, and of same quality and the same sort of manufacturing process.
Yeah, but people who like fake now use certain process. I mean, like using tea bags and stuff like that.
Using
you can
tea
actually
bags.
Use everyday items to actually portray the old style, as long as you knew how to get that paint or make that kind of paint. And that kind of canvas and that kind of
this is what a lot of people believe, you see, because like in that sort of vein, if you were a tradesman back in the medieval times, like, or an alchemist or a chemist or anything like that, then you'd want to be able to make your concoctions, your medicines or whatever. Maybe you've got a bad memory, maybe you need to write all this stuff down, but you don't want people discovering it and being able to steal your business.
That's true.
It's not like today when they can go, oh, well, are you a qualified dentist?
Yeah.
And you go, no, but my mate showed me how to do it.
Yeah, I can pull a tooth out,
man. Back in the medieval times, if you found a book on how to make up a medicine, then you could call yourself a doctor.
Oh, yeah, quite easily.
Easily steal your trade.
Yeah, even if you didn't actually have the right stuff, you could call yourself the doctor as long as you were trying to treat someone.
Well, apparently, it once was in the possession of Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II.
Oh, yeah.
Who bought it for 60 golden ducats.
And that's a lot. That was like nearly half the kingdom's money.
Now, he believed that it was written by the scientist Roger Bacon, but obviously Roger Bacon was in the 12th century, according to the New Yorker. That
but then again, could their time be wrong? You know what I mean? Their timing, could there be timing off? I mean, science always changes, so you could say that actually, let's say in a couple of more years, they find something and it goes, actually, Bacon could have actually been there, and it's just that timing of
Bacon
getting things together.
It's always there.
Oh yeah,
Whether it be Kevin
bacon
or Roger
or
bacon.
Yeah,
or Voynich
bacon. Yeah.
Voynich sounds like a bacon brand. Voynich would actually end up researching the manuscript for the rest of his life.
That's right.
But never actually coming close to understanding its meaning. He did kind of collaborate with a few people. Some people claimed throughout wild claims that they actually cracked it. But they were quickly debunked. Actually kind of. So this is the thing, you see, since the internet, it's become like a bit of kind of well known now. So there's a lot of people researching it. Trying to crack it. So there's a lot more
chance of cracking it.
Well, no, there's a lot more theories coming out. Yeah,
that's right.
And there's a lot of people, and we'll get into some of the theories later on. But obviously, it's one of those. It comes back to one of those things where it's like, people go on about the second coming of Jesus. Yeah. But if he actually did turn up and go, "I'm here, I'm Jesus," they'd lock him away. Do you know what I mean?
So true.
So it's like one of these theories could be correct, but because it's not as fantastic as everyone hoped it might be, they go, no, that can't be it.
Yeah, because there's nothing behind it. I suppose, proof of the dramatic. Like if Jesus rose, he'd probably go, "Well, give us a fish. I'll get you a couple more fishes if you want, or give me some water. I'll get you some wine."
I'll just go, Jesus, teach a man to fish.
Yeah,
don't need you.
Yeah. We got a fishing rod, man.
Anyway, until his death, the manuscript was obviously, looked at by Voynich. He kind of was really into it, in terms of like the research and trying to understand it. He believed that it was actually contained some more science. That he thinks that it was the medieval sort of science or magic. Yeah. Okay. Was in this book. Right.
Well, thinking words are powerful.
There was another quote where he basically says, that this book the knowledge he knows or the knowledge he possesses once unlocked will basically put modern day science to shame, is what he was suggesting about this book. So he had high hopes for it.
Yeah. So then his dedication went above and beyond.
Oh, definitely. He was so obsessed with the book. So by the time he died, he'd obviously made arrangements for where it was going to go after. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So he had an employee who I forget her name now. Do you know what? I'm terrible because I was meaning to write it down and I didn't.
Let's call her
Doris. Let's call her Doris.
Let's call her Doris.
So Doris, right. She might actually be called. And I think she's called Anna or Anna. Yeah, I think she's called Anna Ma. I think or something like that. Yeah, or some. Well, yeah, I think she's called Anna Na or Ma.
Let's call her Anna.
Right. Well, she was basically working at the book depository or in the offices. Yeah, and I think he actually ended up being in a sort of relationship with her by the end of the Second World War, right? But obviously there was not much kind of like passion or relationship left with his wife, but they had a bit of an amicable sort of kept married, and obviously when he died, she took ownership of the shop,
of course,
and moved into an apartment with Anna, who was joint custodian of the book. He'd actually left it to his wife and his mate or her mate. One of the. Well, not 100% sure what the relationship was there.
Well, you never.
But basically, so it's left to these two with the instructions that they weren't allowed to sell it to a third party unless they both agreed to it, or they got the price he was asking, right, which was $100,000 at the time.
Whoa, that's immense.
Because he believed it to be that insignificant importance. Yeah. So
well, then why didn't he send it to the science? Well, then again.
Well, this is the thing, because if a university or an independent body is interested in your book, or in your manuscript, by giving them the look at it, it takes away all its power. It takes away its its rarity. It takes away its value. Yeah, so as a bookseller, he's basically thinking, right, I've got a rare document here. If I let people analyse it, they take photocopies, they start looking into it too much, and then all of a sudden it's it's being written down in journals, it's being photographed,
and it's being looked at.
It's losing its sort of specialness, if you like.
Well,
its
yeah,
rarity.
but it needs as many people try and break this
Oh,
code
I
as
understand
possible.
that.
So
yeah, I totally understand that. But these people out there who are more about the money and about how this can bring them fortune rather than basically just giving it to the world because it belongs to the world in terms of like significance, historical value, any of that.
But I kind of think that it might be we're reading it the wrong way.
Well, I'm sure they are, because no one's cracked it yet.
Yeah. But if they've had the idea that they're reading it the wrong way, and I don't mean like upside down, inside out, and all that. I mean the way to read it. You need a certain substance to read it. Like if you had a yellow card in front of it, it bring up blah,
well, it's
blah,
funny,
blah,
actually, because I had a bit of an idea what that could be. Because, like when there's always, if you're thinking codex, right, now obviously this language, it's made up of different, like, characters from different languages, supposedly, or, these bits of this, bits of that, and the other.
20 to 25 known letters.
Now, Voynich himself never, as far as I know, put anything out into the world in terms of like
evidence.
No, any other support, because there was a letter that was delivered with the book, tucked in its pages, but like basically that was a letter basically telling the next guy where he got it. And what it was, and he didn't have any information about it, but he was like, "Oh, I hope you can get more out of it than I did," sort of thing.
Yeah, you sort of read my mind there.
Go on,
because literally, the next thing I was going to say.
What I'm saying is Voynich himself, if it was a hoax, I mean, Voynich wouldn't be putting the cipher out because he didn't create the book; he just owned it.
Yeah, but could there be an accident, as in? There was a letter with it, or maybe two letters with it.
Possibly.
And a bit of wind or something.
Well, no, but you're thinking about it in the wrong way as well, because, there was old ways of kind of hiding secret messages throughout the years have totally changed. So in terms of ciphers and codes and like having a code breaking system, then, it's adapted and it's changed and it's got more complex, but even the sense that they used to get a wooden stick, right, and then wrap ribbon or cloth around the stick and write on the ribbon lengthways, so when you unravelled the ribbon, it wouldn't make any sense. But
until
if
you wrap it again.
but it had to be the same thickness of stick. So if you wrapped it around the wrong thickness of stick, it'd realign wrong and it wouldn't make any sense.
You won't be able to make it.
So the ways that it's like you can incorporate, so you, like I say, the book might be one, like the lock, but the key could be something totally different. It doesn't necessarily mean to be another piece of text or another letter or another manuscript.
It can't be technology, I wouldn't have thought.
Oh, no, it was medieval. So it was rather something physical. So it was rather another manuscript that accompanied it, that cracked it, like a key. Or it was something physical that contained the key,
Or the biggest book that was sold around the world, everywhere, the Bible. Could there be a connection between that on the language?
There's always a Bible knocking around, isn't there?
And that is like one of the books that gone through history.
If Voynich actually did discover something, they could have hid it in his wife's book.
Because
his wife actually did write a novel. She was an Irish-born British writer. Is Ethel Voynich.
But
she published a novel in 1897, and it was a romance, apparently, about revolutions, romance, and heroism.
But he couldn't tell her much anyway, because if he didn't have the key to the answer to it, he couldn't put it in the book.
And that was called the Gadfly, if anyone was interested.
The Gadfly?
Well, she basically kept the book with the instructions. It was locked away. It was in a safety deposit box in a bank for about 30 years.
So he put away.
It remained there until her death. And everything was passed on to Anna, or whatever she was called, Anne. And Nah,
it
right?
sounds like Nana.
She was everything went back to her. So this was around 1960, right? So this book's been around, but pretty much hidden away for the last half a decade. Yeah. Obviously, Voynich never really showed it to anybody.
No.
They tried to
Missed the
sell
trick,
it, but didn't have any kind of luck, because they couldn't get the asking price, and they were told unless they got the asking price into stipulations in the will that they couldn't sell it.
See,
right?
museum, I would have gone
well,
to.
when she kind of inherited it, she did what they couldn't do. She managed to sell it after a while.
What, for 100 million?
Well, no, she didn't get 100 million for it, but no, she wanted 100. I think they wanted 100,000 for it.
Right.
Yeah, but she ended up getting about a quarter of that. So I think they paid about 24,000.
Well, when you need money.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, mate, back in the 1960s, 24,000 was a lot of cheddar. Do you know what I mean?
She's been held onto it for a while as well. They've held onto it, haven't they? So.
At the end of the day, you've got to look. Well, yeah, because she died about 3 months later. So she didn't really get to enjoy the money anyway.
Well, then again, she might have enjoyed quite a lot of the money to the end.
So, besides,
she spent it on.
She's basically like, ended up selling it on, right? Yeah. But the next guy who got it, right, who was basically like an investor, he was trying to, make it turn around and all the rest of it. He ended up getting stumped with it in the same way Voynich did.
Okay,
he couldn't sell it. Yeah, and he ended up passing it around and trying to get rid of it. But he ended up, in the end, donating the book to the Yale Library. Yeah. Right, yeah. Where it stays today, it is still there, and it's being kind of researched, and people are allowed to check it out and go and, have a look and try and crack the code, which is the Voynich Manuscript mystery. A bit about the book itself. The manuscript appears to have 7 separate sections, which are botanical, astronomy, cosmology, the zodiac, botanical, and pharmaceutical, and the last section is recipes. So it's broken down into kind of quite a lot. I mean, like I say, it's a codex, so when you look at it, it's almost like somebody's depiction of what they're seeing on a planet. Yeah, so you've got depictions of what birds and plant life they've seen,
and that's what kind of helps on the alien kind of aspect.
Well, I think when you get into the start, because like I say, there was an astronomy section and a zodiac section, where most of the star signs were represented but slightly off. Yeah, so they could be rather seen from a different point in space, potentially another planet, that's true. Or they were just the fact that they didn't have sophisticated enough instruments to document them accurately.
Yeah, that is possible. So possible.
There's a lot to say that, but I mean, I couldn't rule the alien bit out because, like I say, there are theories that this could have been a stranded alien who was depicting his final days of life on this planet he's found himself on. With no technology to get himself home, he's basically stuck here.
You know what? Yeah. It's plausible. It is. There would be a percentage there to say
now,
yes.
What do you think about the illustrations in the book? Because, like I say, the book itself is covered. It's littered with illustrations of plants. There's even a dragon in there.
Yeah.
So there's a dragon eating one of the plants.
Yeah.
There's
lots
cherubs.
Of baths.
There's a lot of baths, isn't there?
And a lot of naked.
So there's a lot of I know. It kind of looks like some sixth form students just been doodling his exercise book. But then if you look at like Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks where he's got kind of like illustrations around the text, that's how it's sort of laid out in the book. There's even been like authors that have kind of tried to mirror this codec idea by doing random gobbledygook text and drawing nice illustrations with it as a sort of like text from another planet. As a marketing ploy to sell a book, which is quite cool. But they based it off this codec, off the Voynich manuscript. I think, like, as you get into the sections and you start realizing like what level of detail that must have been going into this, yet nobody can understand what it is actually talking about. Yeah.
But then you've got like things like curls with like green, like doing a D, and you've got like a green.
It's funny actually, because do you know whenever I look at the manuscript, do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Do you know when you get like you'll draw something as a kid, like or you kind of like I say you're drawing your exercise book or something like that, and then your little sister comes along with the crayons
and goes,
and scribbles or tries colouring it in, and you come back and go, oh, that was my Beano annual, you fucked it, or whatever. True. Yeah, you've just crudely coloured it in. Yeah, because the illustrations are not that bad. Yeah, some of the women in the baths are all right.
Well, but most of them, I must admit,
but like they're quite surreal or satirical, or if you like, do you know, if you think of those satirical comic strips in like the New York Times, that's the sort of illustration I see there. But then when you look at the colouring in techniques compared to the actual drawing, it's quite childish. It's like someone's come in and painted it after the fact, like they didn't want it painting, someone just painted it. Like someone's handed it to a child and went, that'll keep you quiet for an hour. Do you know what I mean?
True. But then you've got things there like that look like fallopian tubes and stuff like that, and that's why that's why I think a lot of people believe it to be a medical journal
for
women.
Well, specifically for women. I mean, like I said earlier, I think if you were a chemist or an alchemist and you wanted to keep all your stuff secret, then you would kind of try and disguise it like that.
I just know what the dragon meant.
Why do you think it was specifically for women? Because of the depictions of the women in the baths?
Not just that. Also, it seems
bathing
like the
in the
baths of like women's parts, basically of the
so like
body.
the this is it, because the baths that the bathing in are all different shapes, different sort of like tubes and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty kind of strange.
Yeah,
it's a bit weird.
This was the conclusion of a guy called Nicholas Gibbs about 2017. That's what he reckoned, and that was also like byquash. Basically, they actually went, no, it can't work because of this, this, and this. But then again, who's to say that? I reckon we've missed a trick somewhere along the line where actually someone who's turned around and gone, no, it can't be that, and it really is.
Right,
but it was just, they've misinterpreted, say, a part of it and thought it was one thing, or it meant one thing to him, or the way he's read it, and I do think we have missed something there. There has to be. I think the key is within the book.
Well, apparently, like, researchers call one of the sections the balneological, which is having to do with bathing.
Yeah, because there's a lot
of it in there.
There is a lot of bathing.
Anyway, so it's kind of like I said, it's divided into about a few sections.
Yeah.
When he was kind of trying to sell the manuscript, trying to work it out, like I said earlier, he did say that he will prove to the world that the black magic of the Middle Ages will be basically discovered, and it'll be far in advance of the 20th century science. That was his exact quote. He didn't do it though, did he?
Yeah, and I really got a question: is this book all that so powerful? I mean, the word means
maybe because
apparently
powerful, it was given to the one of the first owners was given it because he cured a king of an ailment that nobody else could cure him of, and as a reward, he fell in his favour. He ended up becoming quite famous.
And actually, there was an add-on into the book, which not a lot of people know. Is actually
not a lot of people know that.
Is actually, if you get a black light, you can actually
that's the guy who saved his life. They did some chemical analysis on it, and they looked into it like with modern day telescopes, Jaffoscopes and all that stuff.
Yeah. Jaffoscopes? What? I thought they were for Jaffa cakes.
That's exactly what they thought.
Yeah, they thought there was a Jaffa cake in the middle of it.
Looking into Jaffa cakes to make sure they're just doing what they should.
Yeah, and they should.
They're looking into it with all those types of scopes, right?
Yeah.
And they found a name, and it turned out to be the guy who was the surgeon or the alchemist to
fixed him.
So
he's probably the last man or person, let's say, that actually knows the way to read it.
No, he didn't know, because he tried, right? Now, a lot of people have tried to decode this.
And how's he cured the king if he said he used this
because
book?
he didn't use the book.
Ah, right, okay.
He was just good at what he did, right? And he was
he
able to cure the king by using his own skills, but as a reward, he basically gave him the book.
Right,
or
okay.
as part payment.
Yeah. Here's a puzzle.
I shall give you the book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, like, there's a lot in there that kind of makes people believe that it's a medical journal of some description and not, unfortunately, from the stars. Or it could be a medical book from an alien who crashed here and went, oh, well, I've got my first aid.
Yeah, that's
you need an hand.
The reason I don't believe it's alien either, to be honest, is like if you check out the descriptions of when people actually have gotten near alien craft or technology, it's more symbolism instead of
this is it though.
words.
It's how you kind of there's a lot of symbolism in there's a lot of symbolism in the book.
Yeah.
This is the thing. There's a lot of kind of depictions of things, pictographs, if you like, which obviously look at the ancient Egyptians who use pictographs all the time in terms of telling a story,
and we used to get it wrong as well until we.
It's how you decipher and how you read that story is totally the thing, you see, because obviously like we said, there's a lot of text in there, but it's all jumbled up languages and no definitive, crack of this code has ever been done. And like I said, there's been so many people trying to crack it.
Even Alan
there was Alan Turing who tried to crack it. There was a colonel who was basically in charge of breaking the Japanese codes in World War II.
Yeah.
He had access to this document for a while.
Yeah,
and he basically put a lot of work into it. He believed that he was on his way to cracking it. And then after the World War II started, he had to put it down for a bit.
Yeah, he was a bit busy.
They got the job done quite quick.
Yeah.
And he sat down and said, "Oh, I've got something else we could be working on. I've got a puzzle for it." Yeah, exactly. And they ended up being the first study group on the topic. Yeah. And ever since, he tried to kind of get another group going because it was like the greatest minds have never sat down to try and ponder what this thing is. Yeah. It's always been a lone person, literally alone with his thoughts, scratching his head, going, "What the fuck am I looking at?" Yeah,
well, a group could actually
try and work it out and work more efficiently to try and break the code. And you know how it is when you get a bit tired.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, there'd be a lot of people as well in the science where they're interested in one major part. Well, that they didn't even think of what the next scientist is doing with, and it could actually be a connection without even. They could be totally miles apart, but it just takes that little conversation to go, well, actually, that could work with this. I wonder, and then next level, when it's the communication through it on the science, man.
Well, we've talked about the herbs and we've talked about the bathing ladies, but in the sort of astrology section of the manuscript, that's quite interesting because, like we say, apparently the New Yorker pointed out that the diagrams in there of the zodiac, are there, but they don't really match up.
No,
and there's charts in there that do not correspond to any known calendar, right? They've also said that obviously the in the book it all folds out, this big centerfold with all these star charts, which is a lot of work went into this book for it to be all handwritten.
Totally.
And to kind of not. Why would you hide? Why would you go to such lengths? I mean, if it was just some sort of chemist who was like, right, I don't want anyone to find my secrets or learn how to make my fantastic zit cream or whatever, then
I just thought of an idea of how it could have been done.
If that is the case, by accident, he's created one of the biggest mysteries ever known to man.
Yeah.
Just on an off chance, on a whim.
I'm thinking, could it be
for a laugh?
If, right, let's say I give you a book, I want you to write gibberish, just anything, do any kind of drawings, right?
And try and pass it off as some random...
And not a lot, just a little bit here and there, and then I go to Jay and go, you do some drawings.
No, because the difference is...
I actually got the key, and so about 10 people in, I turn round and then I put my information in. It mixes it up in different ways.
Yeah. So do you think it was a correlation of people?
Yeah,
and that's why you've got different... But you could do that with different languages. You could just like pass the book to different languages and do a bit of code in that language, and then
Yeah,
2 letters on,
different,
2 letters on do another
then.
say English, 2 letters on do fucking Greek, 2 letters in do German.
Yeah.
But then again, unless you know which order you're doing the languages in, then it's impossible to break the code. And if he's used to using the code, then he can probably read that fluently anyway. And
not only that, if computers can't even do it, and they're supposed to be the massive mind of our generation, then like, what hope have we got?
Well, this is it. Unless you can kind of equate it to anything, then there's nothing really you can kind of glean from it.
A computer can do like billions of like processes at once within a short amount of time. Now, surely that if there was really a code there, that it would have been broke by now. You know what I mean? Because there's only got to be so many things that can happen within that book, unless there is, like you say, there is another book that needs to be joined with it, or there might be a number of them for all we know, with the amount of people rich people who are actually putting them away.
Yeah.
Or even through family heirlooms and stuff like that. And like, we've had that all this time. We're keeping it in the attic. We never really look at it. It's gibberish. It might actually have a connection to it.
Well, what's this about then? Because in the Smithsonian magazine, they basically talk about the nude women referred to as nymphs.
Yeah.
They say these indeterminate animals as digitized versions of the document show. There are charts with women in circles holding stars. Yeah, so these are kind of, why are these women so significant? So what have they got to do with these certain stars that these nymphs are holding? Do you know what I mean?
Well, so could it be Mother Earth?
Well, I understand if it's you're talking about kind of like, right, well, these combinations of herbs mixed together will help this lady problem. Yeah, right. That makes sense to me. Yeah, right. Yeah. And if that is what the document's about, then medicines for certain
and old medicines at
certain medical problems, then that makes sense. But when it comes into star charts and you've got like, we've got the same nymph woman and now she's holding a star, but it's not, it's a specific star. It's not just like it's for decoration, or maybe it's
a meaning in that area.
Is it or isn't it? This is the thing. There's too many variables for anyone to ever fucking decipher the bastard thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've had great minds on it, fantastic minds on it, and it still hasn't.
I mean, it's so perplexing that NASA even posted a call for people to try and figure out what the hell it was going on, and if there was any specific meaning behind the charts. Especially like with the astrology charts, and that's obviously connected and made people come out with a lot of alien conspiracy theories as well.
Yep.
So, which is quite bizarre because obviously if it's unexplainable, then surely it must be the diary of a marooned alien on this planet.
But charts might be able to tell you when these plants grow or not and stuff like this.
Well, I don't know, because obviously those are the kind of star charts sort of thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, because obviously it contains a language that nobody can read, it's not basically... Plants aren't found on the planet.
No.
And it's such an ancient manuscript... Yeah, which has obviously got a lot of intelligence behind it. Yeah, it does make people believe that it is aliens.
Yeah. It is ancient, but realistically, with the technology and stuff.
Well, that's why. Well, no, but back then, imagine you're an alien. You're flying around, chugga in your little spaceship. Yeah, little 3-seater.
Oh, I've got a big
one. A little 1-seater.
1-seater? No, I'm not playing that.
Convertible.
Convertible. Yeah. All right then. Sporty.
Boo-boo.
It's got turbo on it.
It's whatever, It's got a catalytic converter.
Yeah. Don't forget the dice in the wind.
It's got aircon. It's got a
aircon as well.
It's got a DVD player, VD player.
VD player? Yeah, I'll take
so it's got all the mod cons, right? And you're cruising around, but whoever sold it to you didn't tell you that the electrics were going to go.
Oh, bastard.
Yeah, we've all been there. Some more than most.
Man. Space dealers, man.
So, your electrics have gone. You're fucked. And you see a little bluey-green planet over there, and you think, right, I'll have to go there,
Yeah, it looks
nice. Right. Well, I'm hoping the sensors are saying that there's a civilization down there. I'm going in.
Fucking
right?
joking, aren't you?
Boo-doo-doo-doo, crash landing. Yeah. You get in there and you see a castle. You go knocking on the door. Go, excuse me, mate. Have you got an AA around here? Is there any? Is a quick fit?
Well, you weren't knocking on my castle this time of night.
I need an MOT. Yeah, and then they go, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. Electric hasn't even been invented yet. Yeah. And then they go, oh, bugger.
Yeah, gives you book.
By this point, the spaceship's bust.
Yeah. Can't be fixed.
Can't even turn. No, it's not even turning over now.
No, battery's wrong. It's not cold.
Right, it's cold, so he can't even get his homing beacon out to try and get his. You know what I mean?
It's a dilemma, isn't it? It's
marooned.
really a dilemma.
Marooned. Right. What do you do?
I walk round and find some goats or sheep.
You find yourself a bit of real estate.
Some paper.
Yeah. And you chill. Yeah. And you go, do you know what? I'll buy that house. I'll have to live
Buy it. You have to make it back.
You have to build it. Yeah. So you build yourself a little cottage and you live your life. And then he's gone around with his notebook going, what is this? It's a sheep. I shall document it. And there's no sheep in there, but there are goats.
That's true. But then again, you could also say that he did it on a different planet where, let's say, the
that could have been the planet he was from, and that's why we don't recognise any of the fauna.
Yeah, and then he's flown here, he's gone, I'll have a look at this nice little place.
Well, it's funny that they had an Italian castle.
He could have just dropped his book, couldn't he, and just gone, oh, damn.
But it could have been a combination of the two.
Yeah,
it could have been like, he could be like an intergalactic traveller, and he says, I like your notebook. He was like, I picked it up on Earth. Made a goat.
Yeah.
Made a calf, that. Yeah. Real calf. Can't get that on Vogue Bar 8.
Yeah, no. Maybe Scott T, but...
Well, there you go. So, yeah. Well, enough jibber-jabber.
Yeah.
Getting into it. So, yeah. So, I mean, what do you think of the whole Voynich manuscript? I mean, like,
yeah, very interesting, very complex.
It's been a lot of kind of theorising about this topic. For a start, I mean, there's been up to about 60 different interpretations and claims that they've sussed it, clocked it.
And you know what? A lot of...
completed it, mate. Voynich code, mate. Completed it.
A lot of science can come through when people go back to the old studies of the documents. Like, the 60 people who've said, well, this is what I think. Now, in there could be the actual answer, but because it's only come out a little bit at a time.
Is your car alarm going off again? So unprofessional.
I know. My car is a pain in it. But the neighbours love me.
Talking about the manuscript's text. Yeah. One thing I didn't say, which I was saving.
Oh, right. Were you saving this?
Yeah, because you were talking about other bits of writing that are in there, and there's a signature in there that somebody's popped in. We talked about there was a letter that was involved. Now, a lot of this text, or in fact all this text, is decipherable. Nobody can work out what it says. Yeah, apart from one bit. There's one bit of text in the book that people can actually and have successfully translated. And
I've got a funny feeling they are wrong.
Well, this is actually dead easy because it's just a mix of Latin and German.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been translated, and but it doesn't relate to any other text in the book. Yeah. Apart from one character, because apparently one character is related to the rest of the text in the book.
So that must crazy, have a double meaning then. Yeah.
Is that? I don't know.
Could be a double meaning.
It's one of them. I mean, I'm no linguistics expert,
Well, you wouldn't want to be on this, to be honest.
What are you going to do?
If you're being paid that highly to do this every day,
Well, this is the thing, then you don't even have to be a modern genius or any sort of genius, because modern technology hasn't even got an answer. No. With the ever-growing number of researchers and the high-resolution imagery and scans and all the rest of it, you'd think that we would have got this by now, do you know what I mean?
Easy
but,
peasy.
Obviously, the Voynich manuscript just keeps on bamboozling us.
Saying no. Not reading me, mate.
So a couple of the, I was having a look through because it's about 60 plus, and it's getting on now where people have claimed they've clocked it and said that they knew what it was. We've got Tim Atkinson, who was quite sure that it was a Welsh, English, or Old Cornish from the 7th or 8th century AD.
Okay.
Which is... Do you know what? It sounds like when you've got like a radio phone in and you've got a load of people who've rang in with the wrong answer.
Well,
so you've got Jim Child, who says it was Indo-European linguistics, or an Indo-European linguistic expert.
Yeah.
Who had been studying since the he says he's been studying since the 1970s, and he says it's early German language.
Well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that's right.
So we've got Enoch von Danken, I think that's a German name, covered the Voynich Manuscript in his 2009 book, That History Is Wrong, and he linked the book to the Book of Enoch, where the whole load of other things.
You know what? Yeah, I'd say that was a bit more closer to what the answer would be, to be honest myself.
Well, like I say, there's been loads of translations from Hebrew to, German and like Gaelic and loads of kind of other language in Bible stories and all sorts.
Everywhere.
I think it's going to be one of those until we know. And if
some clever dick out there.
If the key's gone, then I don't see how we'll ever work it out. But it'll always be one of those mysteries that will keep making us guess.
Heads going. Yeah,
it'll keep us guessing regardless.
I hope it ain't going to be a long mystery, because it's going to start fading away.
Well, it can't even at some point, because like I say, it's being kept in one of the most secure libraries, the Yale Library, and being studied. So I mean, like, there's always going to be a renewed interest in it, I think.
Yeah,
I think there's always going to be somebody who goes, do you know what?
Could be.
I want to be the guy who solves that.
See, I think it's possibly. Yeah, well, that is true. I think it's possibly like there's a village, and someone within that village doesn't leave the village and goes round and does like this with their language within that village, and then it's left the village, and then other people can't interpret it because that village is gone and destroyed now, and the language has been destroyed.
Maybe. Well, like I said, Edith Sherwood believes that the document was created by a very young Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh.
Even though he was left-handed, and the book is appears to be written in a right-handed form.
Well, he could have been. He could have had double. You know what I mean?
This is the thing. There's so much history into this. I think obviously, if we have piqued your interest in this,
take a look.
Do go and have a look. There's plenty of documentaries and stuff that you can go and check out, and I'm sure you'll find loads more to it than we have as delivered tonight. But we're running out of time, so that is it for the moment on that. We might revisit this and have a comeback on this one day.
See what we've missed, and probe it a little bit more and see if anyone's actually cracked it in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, well,
here we go.
We've got a promo for you today. It's from a podcast called the True Crime Podcast. Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap, a true crime. And we've got a promo for you. Here you go.
Hey, it's Jennifer Snap here, host of the Oh Snap, a True Crime Podcast. In this podcast, I focus on the life and memory of the lives taken at the hands of history's most notorious murderers, as well as those lesser known to the public eye. My mission is to give the victims and their loved ones the respect they deserve. You can find Oh Snap wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget, my loves, snap out of it.
Well, thank you, Oh Snap, a True Crime Podcast, for dropping us your promo. And you can do the same by sending us your promo to neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. We might play it on the show. We'll send you ours in return. So it's not all one-sided, you know.
Nope.
A bit of cross-promotion.
Yeah.
I'm making up words tonight, left, right, and centre. It's all good.
Hey, why not?
It's only 3:30 in the morning.
It's happened before, and it's gone in the dictionary.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well... we've got the news.
We have.
I was just about to say, is that the end of the show?
No.
So it can't be.
Can't be. We've got loads left.
Well, we have, and in due course, in fact, now, we got the news. It's the news. I knew we had summit to do.
Yeah.
We weren't there yet.
Yeah, well,
as always, as a normal every week occurrence,
Yeah.
We've scoured the World Wide Web to find you the best and the most entertaining bits of news junket we can find, and this week hasn't disappointed. I believe that you've got. Have you got a story to start us off with, or am I making that up?
No.
Well, I've got this story about Ian Botham.
Legendary
cricket.
Yeah, he was great in the
man.
80s.
What was he on adverts for?
Because he was a great bowler.
No, but he was on an advert in particular. What was it?
Oh, right. You know what? I can't remember. You know what? You should have reminded me.
I will have
earlier.
to Google that because it literally just popped into my head. Well, Ian Botham, he's basically joined an activist. It was Special K.
Was it Special K?
Maybe.
Yeah, we're getting near it. I can sniff a truffle.
Well, it's got nothing to do with
what we're talking about.
With what we're talking
Which is
about.
what I know now.
I'm just actually super interested now.
Yeah.
What it was he was trying to advertise. I just want to see if it was shredded wheat.
Oh,
that was it.
See, that's
Ian Botham, advocate of shredded wheat.
Yeah.
Those bundles of
bad
goodness.
taste, mate. Bad taste.
Well, Ian Botham, although he likes shredded wheat, he's basically he's got involved in an alliance to disrupt a law that might potentially be coming in that recognises animals having feelings.
Oh, that's a bit of a dodgy one, that one,
Yeah, chickens have feelings too, guys.
So, wow.
They get obviously cows sit around waxing the meaning of life.
Farmers are in trouble.
They get the feelings hurt if they say they got bum looks big in this.
Yeah, dog homes are in trouble. Farmers are in trouble.
This is a lobby to protect animals, believing obviously animal welfare as sentient. The sentient bill will ensure the principle that animals are sentient and would be treated as such, and this bill would be basically... it does kind of put a lot of animals into, well, can we not... we're not allowed to eat those animals now because, we're not... Well, they're considered sentient. You wouldn't kill a sentient animal. Sentient's just alive, isn't it? We know animals are sentient.
This is the thing of trying to stop people from eating meat.
But it's like fish. They say that fish are sentient, and obviously, if they said fish, they didn't have a memory. Goldfish had a memory of nothing
4
seconds until it was proven that they did.
Yeah.
But even Kurt Cobain says, it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
Well, that's wrong.
So it's widely believed that fish and other animals, they don't get the feelings hurt. You can't go and upset a Rottweiler.
Oh, well, no.
Well, you could.
Kick it in the knackers.
They'll bite you.
That'll upset him.
I think you could. In fact, upset a Rottweiler, you could upset.
Yeah, but if he bites
animal.
me, I'll bite him back.
Well, of course, that's how you upset him. Obviously, it's nature, isn't it? If you upset an animal, it just attacks you.
Yeah, but
how do you know it was sentient? It attacked me.
Now you're trying to get sort of... they're trying to work it on the vegetarian way.
Based on, obviously,
Ian
Botham's love of shredded wheat, that you'd think he'd be on, all in favour of, protecting young animals and sentient beasts.
Well, I think he's on the farmer's side.
He's on the farmer's side, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's basically lobbying against this bill, which would obviously, like you said, would probably throw a spanner in the works to a lot of
massive areas.
Agricultural.
Yeah, and we're animal lovers in this country as it is, so we don't. And you get the odd knob who would like to do stuff, but you can't have everything. But we're a nation of animal lovers, and we're known for that as well. So why would you need to bring this law in? And like I said, to me, it sounds like they're doing it they can change.
He says he thinks it's ridiculous to think that, and bizarre that there's a law that says it recognises that fish have feelings. I really struggle to have a soft spot for a prawn.
Well, does that mean insects as well then?
Yeah, it's true. It's all animals, isn't it? I think this is it. I think anything that breathes, and as a fucking societal structure. I mean, ants have a societal structure. Owls would. I'm not going to go through all the list of animals to see which ones are kind of out there loners. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, well, no, I don't get with society. I'm a bit of a loner. I like to fly solo. Cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, guys? Do you think it's, I think certain animals, for sure,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is going to react with every animal. It has to be put under
It's
every
like
animal.
obviously, like every time you have a chicken nugget, you've got to ask if it's had a psychological evaluation
Yes,
before agreeing to becoming a chicken nugget.
He signed a contract on the bottom saying, "Yeah, you can
there
slaughter me."
There was an
at
NDA
32
saying,
weeks.
basically saying, a waiver.
Yeah.
I've come into this abattoir of my own free will.
Yep, I want 50% extra water in my skin.
I wanted to end it all. I've had enough of life.
Yes.
The
poultry are not giving me a good
is it,
chance.
Man. They're depressed. They've got feelings.
They
what
are.
Gonna do?
They are. Well, talking about feelings.
I was going to say, let's move on from this one.
I'm going to start off with this one.
Go on.
Ronaldo.
Who?
Ronaldo. We're going into a little bit sporty.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo has come back to Man United after 12 years.
Ronaldo.
Who? Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, is he one of these sports people? I don't know.
He's a footballer.
What's he do?
Great footballer.
Right,
He's
okay.
He's either... Well, they all say he's
right,
number
can I just
two, but
ask?
he's number
So
one
I'm assuming he earns way too much money for what he does for a living.
Actually, surprisingly...
No, does this man earn his money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Really?
yeah, definitely. Right. Well, let's say, he was at Man United and we sold him for... Juventus sold... I
think he's lobbying for a pundit job. If the BBC are listening, he won't work for you, but ITV or Sky...
Well, 3 years ago...
sports commentator.
Juventus bought him for 100 million.
Okay.
Yeah. So the deal and his wages was 26.6 million a year. Now...
What?
We've got him...
For kicking a ball about?
But we've got him, and he's still got that ability.
How many hours a day does he kick a ball about for that much money?
I'd say nearly most of his days.
I'll up it. I bet I can kick a ball about twice as long as he can for the amount of money he gets.
Oh, mate. Oh, you want to go see football fans?
When he's tired and wants to go home, I'll be like, I've got a couple more laps in me.
You're going to be like Man City and grumpy
for that
over
much
it,
money.
He was going to go to Man City, but at the last minute.
I'm not grumpy about it. I'm not any.
But I bet Man City is.
No, this is the thing you see, right? Being a Mancunian, the first thing people ask, and especially if you meet somebody from a different city, the first thing they ask is,
Man U or
are
City?
you or Man U or City?
Yeah.
And I go, neither. And they go, what?
Yeah.
That's a bit strange. I'm like, because football's a bit fucking lame, really, isn't
you're not
it?
into it yourself.
Yeah, I'm not really into it. I think there's better things to be doing.
But it's
time, thank you very much.
It's a great deal. We bought him for 20 mil. 20 to 25
I didn't buy him. You bought him for... Where'd you get 20 mil from?
That's how much
I keep banging me, Mike. Sorry.
And then his wages is 20 mil a year as well. So he's gone down in...
Oh, right.
He's
took a pay cut. He's only on 20 mil a year. Right. What a shame. Didums for that
He's going to miss that 6.6 mil, though. You know what I mean?
There's troubles going on elsewhere in the world. Well, at least we know Cristiano Ronaldo is perfectly sweet.
Yeah, he's come back home.
Did you hear?
So we did have something come on.
Well, he had something to talk about. He wanted to talk about his United and Ronaldo. So there you go. This story I found, the EPA, they've been found to be falsifying risk assessments for dangerous chemicals.
Naughty.
This as far as whistleblowers are telling us.
And we're trusting them.
Agency scientists have said the management silence and harasses them to basically appease chemical industry. I don't know if I said that right, but basically whistleblowers are saying that the US Environmental Protection Agency have been falsifying dangerous and new chemicals risk assessments in effect to make them comply and appear safe and quickly get them approved for commercial use. I think that's pretty savage. EPA, they're supposed to be the Environmental Protection Agency. Not introducing toxic and highly dangerous.
Yeah, but should be taking it out.
Chemicals into the fucking community.
But it just, you know what? It doesn't surprise me. It's looking like every fucking agency has got something riding on the back.
And then you wonder if it could have been a leak at the Wuhan lab.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you've got and this is happening on fucking American soil by the sounds of it. So you know what I mean? Whistleblowers in the industry and watchdogs are saying that it's a revolving door between the agency and chemical companies. So obviously it's just a case of like as soon as they deny or approve one, they've got another one coming in the door for approval.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a kind of dangerous game. I think they do need more scrutiny on these things when they're looking into it, because at the end of the day, this is stuff that's obviously going to get introduced to the environment. Yeah.
We need people
we're all about saving the fucking environment at the minute.
And these are just going, oh, well, we could
also
add some more money.
People don't remember shit like asbestos.
Yes.
Right? Now, asbestos, great thing. Everybody loved it. Yeah. Put it in ironing boards. Put it in your walls. Put it in your ceilings.
Put it in your sandwich.
Yeah. Anything, yeah. Would you use it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find a million uses for asbestos.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then they went, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They dropped a bollock.
And they didn't realise what they were putting out into the public before they tested it enough.
It's a bit like doctors and smoking in the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
Best for your health, and it ends up
by approving stuff that's not kosher, not 100% tested or safe, is pretty naughty.
Worse if you know about it and you still persist and carry on with what
I'll be looking into that a bit more, so I'll be keeping people informed of that one. Have you got anything else?
Yeah, well, there's words going around the world. All presidents and prime ministers are saying at the minute, which is a bit of an oddity.
Go on.
Because Build Back Better seems to be the word of the year at the minute.
I fucking hate this. Build Back Better.
Yeah.
It's on. Have you ever seen that remix of? I think there was a. What was it? And what are they called? The NDA or not NDA? Fucking the Defense League, the EDL.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So the EDL were doing some like march thing. Yeah, right. And there was just some absolute nitwit, and he was videoed going, "What do you want?" He was like, "I want Britain to be back British." And it's a sort of same. I mean, I'm not the most eloquent speaker in the world, yeah, right. But when you hear bring Build Back Better, yeah, it sounds fucking.
It does.
It sounds so horrible to hear.
Well, it's the.
What are you trying to say? You want to rebuild the country and build it back better?
Build it back better than what it was before. So we're restructuring everything, and it's going to be the reset, and that's what they're doing. But
well, when you say reset, what do you mean by the reset?
That they want to change things, like on the IMF. Like the reset is that you're going to have nothing, you're going to own nothing, but you're going to be happy about it.
Indenturement, basically, like you're servitude.
You're going to do basically. Well,
I was reading something about in a New World Order document that somebody had posted on Instagram, and it was like they were going, one of the New World Order stipulations was that you would own nothing, you would not own anything, and everything would be kind of like, get provided for you, but in a shared capacity. Pretty socialist.
Yeah, you get what you're given.
You get what you're given.
Yeah.
But then there's always going to be like, ways of getting a bit better or building back better, but I don't know. It depends on your grass up, I suppose.
But
what I'm getting at is, it was funny actually, because that document, somebody who posted it, they were saying like this, like, look, this is proof of the New World Order because it was written over 50 years ago. Like, they was like basically touting 1989 as like a million years ago, and I thought it was like, well, it weren't that long ago.
No, not really.
I'm not that old.
Yeah.
I was born a bit before 1989.
You were? Yeah.
But anyway.
Quite a bit, actually.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's the combination that all the leaders are saying this at the minute.
So you think it's going to be like a case of this restart is going to just be like...
I don't think it's going to be good for us. I think it's going to be better for them.
Do you not think it could be like... well, no, because I think in these sort of kind of... I think your car's flashing again.
Oh, is it flashing?
It's
a pervert.
It's going off again, when you think about these changes in how society works... Yeah. You can't just flip a switch and have everybody just, do it.
This is going to be the scariest thing about it.
And that's the problem, because when you do that, look at what's happening all over the world in terms of like, people feeling like the liberties and the rights are being squashed now.
Yeah. Especially
it's
in
like
Australia.
if you start kind of going, right, now, from now on, you don't own your house, you
You rent it.
What do I do? So I've got to kind of find rented accommodation now. Well, I own this house. My family's owned this house for generations.
Yeah, well, this is
you've got all these problems. Yeah, you can't do it now. Yeah, right. The way you'd have to do it is kind of gradually implement it and have like a sort of a chain reaction where it was like before you know it, the people involved or the people in our situation don't know any better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's an interesting situation you pose in, but I don't know about that one.
It is because it connects them all together. Why are they all having these same words, which, like you say, are like fucking, the shit.
Yeah, but how can you connect the phrase "build back better" and the idea that, well, think about it, they might all be using it because we're all in a similar situation. The world's been basically effectively closed down for 2 years, and we've all fucked.
So it gives the indication that they all on an agreement.
Well, they're all in agreement that something needs to change because look at the state of the world. And I mean, we try and kind of, obviously, we're aware of stuff going on in the world, and we follow the news quite avidly in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But we find that obviously when we talk on the show, when we want to kind of deliver a show, that we don't go into a lot of the topics and stuff that's going on. But we acknowledge, we know what's going on.
What's going on, and it's basically we're getting the same information.
Well, it's not only that, it's we do have opinions on it, but
we don't want to get too heated in this.
Exactly. So the idea of like, what is going on in the world at the moment, and the world is in turmoil. I think there's a lot of people who believe that there's, something's coming. If you're religious, I think there's a lot of talk about people believing that it's the end of days or Bible prophecies coming true. And the idea that we're having floods and fires and fucking plagues and all sorts is signs of we don't have control of the rains anymore, and the idea that have we let the planet slip so fast and so far that
I've got a funny feeling that was
now everyone goes,
it
was our fault or our generation's fault or the previous generation's fault for not doing enough. I do believe that a lot has happened since, because
there has been a lot of changes
in
the
1900s. London was thick as thick fog in front of your eyes. I mean, in terms of everyone had a coal fire and a
black
smoke
shit
pluming
in
pluming out of your chimneys every day.
Yeah, and you couldn't afford to have a bath every single day, and like if you had to go out and come back in.
And Taylor, he had to go to a toilet on the outside, outside toilet.
I did that in the 80s. I think he even did that in the 90s.
He even remembers it.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, good old days.
There has been kind of,
there has been
strides and changes in the climate stuff, but obviously
I think
it's like everyone blames the previous generation for not doing more. But again, it's like, well, what happens when it's the next generation and they say the same thing? It's like we can only do what we can do. It's like look at the idea that it's like when you think of other countries who haven't got the same climate change ideals of us as us, who contribute. I mean, China, for instance, contribute probably a good half of the world's carbon. When they refuse to change, does it not
and
kind of feel like
now.
we're pissing in the wind a little bit? So it's one of them. I mean, I like the idea that we can change things, but is it too little, too late?
No, because it's the ones we need to change are the politicians and the way the structure of business can contribute and twist their arms into going into
now
certain
the only way
areas.
Do you know what you were saying about kind of like this build back better? I mean, it kind of does remind me of like the depictions in the Denver airport thing. Do you know, where it was like, there was this big plague, everyone was wearing gas masks, everybody kind of realised that we need to kind of pull together as a world community to try and solve this problem.
But then soldiers come out with the gas masks and
who knows what's
got
next?
Good and you got bad parts.
Everybody, I'm just basically,
let's just hope everything starts getting
I've got my BB gun
and your bow and arrow.
I've got my bow and arrow ready.
Sword.
Don't you worry. So anyway,
it.
Waffling on a bit too much here. I found this story.
Did you?
I found a few, to be honest.
Oh, good lad.
It's getting on. I'm tired now.
It is, yeah.
It's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm Well,
right. So basically, there's an abandoned property, right?
Oh yeah.
According to neighbours, the old house at the end of Dartmouth Street in Coates has been abandoned and debilitated for years. Yeah.
Right.
As far as anyone knows, no one lives inside it. It's no one even remembers who lived inside it. Do you know, like in recent memory? So that's how long it's been abandoned, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, a load of foxes have moved in.
Oh, right. So
Literally all over the place. So even though no one knows for sure how long the fox critters have been in the building, they've basically got the run of the place. You know, they've turned it into a fox hotel.
Hey, well, you know, if it's not going to be used, let Mother Nature take its course.
Well, there was basically on Thursday afternoon, a wildlife rehabilitator, set 3 traps in the overgrown property, and each of them baited with half a rack of ribs.
Oh, nice.
They had to get them out there. They couldn't let them live on in this property.
It should be outside.
So they had to kind of release them into the wild. So they caught them anyway and released a couple of them back into the wild. So I'm pretty sure that they would have done the same for the rest of them.
Yeah.
But I find that quite cute.
Yeah, I think it's
I like foxes. I mean, I know they don't. I know they eat your chickens.
I got no chickens, so they can
I
eat
don't
away.
have any chickens, but you know, I know they do, and they're a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, considered to
sometimes,
be.
yeah.
And well, no, because look at the fox hunters.
Yeah.
They don't just chase them off for no reason.
No.
Do you know what
Obviously,
I mean?
yeah, but the animal has its.
They've got the whole reason why the fox hunt came about is because you know you want to get foxes off your land. Yeah. So let's make a sport out of it. I don't agree with it.
No.
Yeah, I think it's a bit barbaric and pointless in this day and age. But obviously back
animals,
then.
Yeah.
I understand why they did it, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much. There's not much on Sunday afternoon TV back in the middle and dark ages.
But
so, you know.
Sometimes animals need culling, you know what I mean? If it's going to be bad for the environment.
That's it. When it's for a cull, then that's a difference. There's a difference between doing it like for the local environment and making sure that a certain species doesn't overtake.
Yeah, because not long afterwards it was badgers.
Just going, tally-ho, pip-pip, baloo halloo, and chasing it off down the fucking field. That's just rude. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
So, but like, they're just quite nice animals, you know, to look at.
You shouldn't be using an animal as a sport anyway.
But now these guys were all over the roof, all over the building, so they were coming out of the top windows, climbing
you've
on
got
the
to kick
roof.
them out, aren't you, really? You're shitting on the carpet and everything, man. Can't be having that stuff.
Foxy Hotel. Have you got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. Have you seen this thing about the challenge with crates, especially in America?
I have seen this. I've got a story about this, but you crack on, and it might not be the same story. So go on.
I think it might be. Well, it's been, I believe it's been banned off TikTok at the minute.
Oh yeah, well that was my
story.
The
same story? Yeah. And it's crazy what people will get up to.
You can get them for like $1, $1.
Yeah.
You can get a crate for $1, yeah, right. And this is the thing. Remember the ice bucket challenge?
Yeah.
It was like, you know, it'll be like, I nominate you to do it. And then you go, oh, well, I can't let the internet think I'm a pussy.
That's
so you
true.
End up
so you get
stacking a load of crates up.
Yeah.
You know, with a bucket of ice water.
I bet there's been some fucking injuries, although the amount of people that have slammed on the side.
There's been so many injuries, and I think, like, you know, if you fall off a load of crates and you end up in A&E and they go, what happened? Yeah. They're going to fucking know that you were being a dick.
Yeah, and not only that, they're paying for it.
Not only that, it's like internal bleeding much. Because there's a lot of these guys I've seen in these fail videos where they're just literally, they're doing some serious damage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In terms of what they're doing falling.
Yeah.
There has been people actually smashing it, though.
Good
and getting success in on it. But, But where do these things come from? Do you think there's just like one guy who goes, do you know what? I'm just going to mess it. I don't know what I was doing. I was in just in my back garden. I had a load of crates. I thought, do you know what? I'll give that a go. I was just fucking bored, locked down.
You know what? It's a sort of like the Charlie bit my finger kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, that's funny.
No, but the internet. That's
I'm
funny.
going to do that.
Yeah, but
I'm going to do that. It just catches on that way.
That's
like
great.
A virus.
Viral stuff's great,
Yeah.
but it's like you know, I mean, I've not watched a viral video and thought, oh, I want to do that. I want to fucking injure myself like that. Do you know what? I want to suck down a load of paprika or fucking what was the fucking cinnamon challenge or anything like that.
What the
because you're able to watch the idiots do it on YouTube and go, oh yeah, fair enough. I'm not going to do that.
I've seen what happens.
I've seen fucking the Darwin Award winners on there. So you think when you see people absolutely crunching the faces off the curb because they tried to do a stupid crate challenge.
They went above
I'm not all
their
about.
abilities.
I love a bit of fun and everything, but you know, it's not going to end well, is it?
Yeah, and it's not just that there's been small stacks. I mean, there's been some large stacks, and
that's
people
the challenge, you see, isn't it?
Gone over,
That's the challenge.
I think is it 20 they use on the most.
No, but I think the internet is a weird place because people generally. I mean, what was it? What was that thing where people were singing to Fleetwood Mac? Whilst cycling down the street whilst filming themselves, or even the dancing to Drake at the side of your car. As soon as one person does it, it's like
a shitload of accidents.
Anything you can do, I can do better. You know, so it is an interesting place, the internet.
There's a lot of interesting people. out there
nobody's
who need to be on the
satisfied
Darwin
with just watching it once and going,
I could do that.
and then everybody has the cheek to turn around and go, Hollywood is rubbish because all they do is make remakes and sequels. When the internet's full of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's like one guy does the cinnamon challenge, and the next guy does it, and then all of a sudden I'm like,
it's a rave.
Cinnamon Challenge 10 with Keanu Reeves in a cinema near you.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Or YouTube.
I suppose it's a way society's working.
I mean, the last time I was influenced by a film so much that I went into the back garden and tried to replicate it. I was 9 and it was the Karate Kid. And I was crane kicking my ass off. Not my ass off, my brother's ass. I was crane kicking my brother in my back garden. And that was the last time I was influenced in such a way that I felt like I needed to replicate what I'd seen. You know, children are so easily influenced. You shouldn't let them play video games. Anyway, so anything... Oh, yeah. Any more stories you want to talk about? Because I've got a story from Reno. This will be my last news story before we get into NASA news. But the city of Reno are cracking down on whips.
What the whip crack away?
Oh, mate, cracking down because apparently they've got a bit of a whip problem.
Huh?
Kinky.
There's a lot of kinkiness going on now, no?
Whip it good. Yeah.
Whip it so good.
It's a fucking full-on ban.
What?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean,
going around whipping people
is this where
on
Indiana Jones is being filmed? I don't know. Reno City Council members voted unanimously on Wednesday to move forward on a ban of whips in public places, saying that whips can scar, intimidate people, and obviously they're a strain on police resources.
I think that's a bit over the top. Loads of things that a car could intimidate you.
Who've they got? Reno 911. It's like they've fucking got a whip phobia.
I think they've got some.
I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure that unanimously voting on other things.
Yeah, there's got to be something else serious.
Whips have become more common apparently, especially in downtown Reno.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Reno
Is
police
there a
have
phase
told
going
the council
off?
members that they've had over 170 whip-related calls this year.
Oh my days! There is some.
Harrison Ford was in the area.
Yeah.
And he was chasing Shia LaBeouf, saying, "Get out of my movie."
Yeah. With a rock behind him.
True story. So like I say, Reno City Council members have debated.
That's just ruined my holiday for
and
next
decided
year.
a ban on whips in public places. So you can still whip in the comfort of your own home, but you're not allowed to whip in public.
Can I do it in a dungeon?
Well, you could if you want. If it's
someone else's dungeon, my whip.
Wait, is it a public dungeon?
Well, it can be.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know then.
Well, it's just crazy. I just don't even know what. I don't know where to
go
with that.
I
don't even know where to go with that. That's just like useless information. It's like you'd be sat in the pub tomorrow going, Do you know it's illegal to use a whip in Reno?
Yeah.
I don't know where he heard that, but someone fucking heard it somewhere. Anyway,
crazy news.
we promised you a new segment during the news, and here it is. Jeff in space.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos is at it again. And if, NASA haven't got enough on the plate at the minute, they've got enough on the hands.
Yeah.
The agency computers keep crashing.
Oh, my.
Because the files that Jeff Bezos has sent on in relation to the Blue Origin lawsuit are too big.
Too big. How big are they?
They're resulting in further delays to the SpaceX human landing systems contracts, because obviously there was a competition, weren't there? And to find out who had the best rocket, who had the smoothest shaft, and who had the most powerful thrusters. And who was it who won? It was the Techno King himself.
It was. Even that good that China's copied it.
China have copied it, haven't they? Yeah, I love how they copy everything.
Well,
they've got no fucking
copyrights, is there?
No, they've got no concept of IP,
good ideas and stuff.
That's like we'll have that.
Yeah, why not?
Obviously, the size of the Blue Origin lawsuit, which is clocked up into more than 7 gigabytes worth of PDFs.
Whoa, that's massive.
It's not that big.
No, it's not.
It's like a HD movie.
Yeah.
So you're telling me a NASA computer can't handle to process a 7 gig movie?
We got problems. We have major
issues. They do
issues.
say that, they sent people to the moon on the equivalent of a fucking iPhone.
Yeah, but it only took 5 megapixels in the camera.
But actually what it was the Adobe software that kept crashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Adobe, who make the PDF reader.
Yeah,
right, so they're trying, you throw in your PDF file, which in this case was 7 gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the software just went,
yeah, fuck that.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you trying?
Wrong language.
I'm wondering how many pages that is, because like a usual PDF's not that big.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously Jeff wanted to make sure that NASA had all the information.
I wouldn't put it past him that he put a bug in it.
He probably did, didn't he? Well,
he had a word with the Chinese there, like shove a bug in there.
So to further rub salt in NASA's wounds, obviously it crashed the system over the week and took over a week long to try and get it back up. The contract was awarded to SpaceX because the agency staff felt that they could, basically get it done.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And get them up.
Well, they thought they knew they were
thought
big
Elon
potatoes,
could
and
get them up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Jeff this week. I think obviously. Back out, mate. I mean, why the fact do you think that you need to sue NASA? Yeah, hold everything up. Yeah, because for a man who's trying to kind of further humanity. Yeah. At the moment, you're holding them back.
Putting a big fat stop sign at the minute.
I know you're not listening to me, but
no. But if you,
I do know you down.
I
do know that you do download the podcast, but then you just delete it for some reason. I don't know. You are a subscriber. I don't know.
Well, if you're not, you fucking better be.
So, man-made space junk.
Ah, yes, we have a lot of that, son.
It's a big problem.
It's a massive
imagine the sea. Yeah, do you know everyone's going on about plastic in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I keep seeing, everyone's coming up with little solutions, and I think, obviously that's a good thing, trying to clean up the oceans.
Work together.
But space junk, is this the same issue? I mean, have we got, clusters of fucking man-made stuff just floating around in space? I've often worried and wondered that we do.
Yeah.
And is it a threat to satellites and stuff that we're going to be sending up into the future? I mean, I know that we've got a lot of these internet satellites going up in terms of...
But they're low orbit,
Elon Musk stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's no limitation on where
but most of the junk's in the higher atmosphere as we're putting.
Yeah, but if it's knocked by a bit of,
totally,
if it could be knocked by another meteorite or anything. I mean, the meteorite that crashes into one piece of the space junk might not do much damage on its own, but changing the trajectory of a piece of space junk that is suddenly hurtling towards one of our satellites is a different story. I think, or the space station, yeah.
But they've got an alert system in there that gives them like a 20-minute warning, so they sit in the capsule just in case it does get hit. And
well, do you think more should be done in terms of trying to clean up what we're sending up? I mean, obviously, SpaceX and Blue Origin operate in a way that their capsules are reusable. And it minimises on the amount of shit that we're sending up into space, which is great. Yeah. Because up until like a few years ago, it was literally we send it up and it was there. Yeah.
Now we've got companies like Swedish,
which was a problem as well, because I mean a lot of the components that we use to send these this equipment to space is like semi-precious metals, like platinum and Pluto, fucking. Gold and
out
stuff.
There,
yeah, and we're just kind of throwing it all out into the cosmic toilet, aren't we?
Yeah, and we need to be more clever in how because that resource will only last for so long. You know what I mean? So we really need to be careful on how we process. I mean, like all the rubbish dumps, all the stuff under there. Years to come, we might have something to process.
No, because you've got to think about it this way, right? Yeah, right. We're going on about how we've affected the planet, right? We've affected planet Earth to the point that we're in a crisis.
I wouldn't say that.
That's how it's being painted.
It is being painted.
That's how it's being painted, and that's how we're the media's kind of leading us down that road where they're saying, we've not done enough we're on a climate crisis, all the rest of it, right? So it all started with us polluting, right? Yeah. Right. This is pollution. We're still doing it, and now we've moved off planet, and we're polluting. We're polluting more than just our planet. We're polluting space.
Look how universe, because we're here to pollute.
Oh, it seems like we're good for
we are,
isn't
but
it?
We are
consume and dump.
Consume and that's it. But yeah,
like, you sure someone's not trying to burglarise your car? Because that's like
they haven't had a good success.
Fourth time tonight.
They try to nick it.
Right, well, there's competition. If you can correctly identify how many times Taylor's car nearly got broken into today, you could win a prize.
Yeah, and I've just put my fingers up how many as well.
Yeah, because everyone can see that.
Yeah, I hope you did.
Well, have you got any more NASA news? I've got one more.
I have. I've got one, surprisingly, from China.
I've got one from China as well. Go on.
Is this the same one? The 1 kilometre space station that they're looking to design?
The China's Eye.
Yeah.
The ultra-large spacecraft spanning miles in a major new project.
Yes.
Well, you crack on. Tell the people at home what it's about.
Well, there's a 4-year programme that they've just announced that they're looking at how or if they've got the capability to put this 1 mile station up into the space, and it is 10 times the size of the International Space Station now, and it is fucking massive, mate.
But this is the thing, NASA have got their own plans as well for a new space station.
I don't think it's a mile long.
Russia,
they've already started their new.
But this is the thing in terms of square footage. I mean, are you going to just go for a big long snaky jobby, or are you going to try and
you ever seen Deep Space Nine?
Yeah,
it's sort of like a station like that.
So are they going for sort of like the ring motif with the bit in the middle?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Maybe take the bits.
Do you know what? Knowing China, it probably is the exact design for the one in Deep Space Nine. Do you know what I mean?
Hey,
China's looking into construct the ultra-large spacecraft in Earth orbit. As Beijing unravels its ambitious 5-year plans to dominate space.
It'd be like Independence Day. Oh shit! Look what's that? You'd be able to see it, literally. You'd be able to see the fucker.
It's funny, though, isn't it? Because, like, obviously, if there were aliens out flying around, they don't really... They give our space stations a bit of a wide berth, unless they've just not noticed us because we're so small. Well, if we start beefing up our activity in space, are we going to get more noticed?
Well, I'm hoping the more that we go up there, and I'm hoping as well within the governments that they actually, go, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? And actually let some of this information out so we can get to the bottom of it at the end of the day.
I doubt that'll happen.
I doubt it'll happen, but there'll be more chance, and we've got really good views of people on the planet who actually go out there
waving.
And look.
Yeah.
at these details.
I can't wait until we've got telescopes so powerful that we can just look on other planets and see them waving back at us.
Yeah.
And go, yeah, see, there's one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Told you.
Oh, give it a couple of years, we might be there.
You owe me a tenner.
Yeah.
There you go. So, there you go. Well, that's the news for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been an interesting one. I really like the idea of the Voynich Manuscript.
Yeah.
I think it's quite. I love the mystery about it, and I love mysteries that haven't ever been solved. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I love about the Oak Island. This is what I love about this manuscript. It's something that it's had the brightest minds looking at, and it's never been able to been cracked. Yeah. I mean, what was this guy thinking when he was writing it? Was he on opium? Who knows?
Well, this is another thing. I mean, could they have been projecting, like an alien has gone, wow, this is what this looks like, so you draw that?
Well, you never know. What about, free spirit writing people, or like in a trance are able to write intelligible sort of things? Yeah. I mean...
Demon in the body or a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different theories. If you feel like you've got one and you feel like you've got something to say about the topic, you know what to do. Give us a shout. Alternatively, you've got any queries, comments or suggestions, email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. You can head over to the website where we've got a comment box there, or a contact box.
Yes.
We generally put a lot of stuff on the website, from videos to downloadable content and all sorts, merch, and ways to support and help us out here at the show.
I love a coffee.
I love a
coffee.
For the price of one cup of coffee, you can help 2 starving podcasts from going hungry and losing their house.
Get all this every week for the next however long we
survive. We're trying to... It's like I started off with nothing and I've still got most of it left. We'll be back next week.
We will.
We're available on all podcast platforms, by the way, from YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm sure you'll find us just by searching Never a Straight Answer. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode. I'm sure you'll agree. Oh, yeah. If you've got any ideas, suggestions for episodes that you might like to see, again, just reach out, get in touch. We're always happy to hear from you guys. And we respond to every message, so, you know.
You're a part of our service and we're a part of yours. So
you're in the bureau now, baby.
You are indeed.
Right, well, we'll catch you next week. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
Peace.
Outside.